Britain's Foreign Secretary admitted today the world has done too little to resolve the conflict in Syria, and the world failed again today. Foreign ministers from G8 countries met in London. They couldn't agree on what action to take, and there was more grim news on what's happening on the ground in Syria. Human Rights Watch has evidence of repeated airstrikes, deliberate strikes targeting civilians. Our Europe Bureau Chief Sean Mallon reports.
Civilians have often been caught in the crossfire in the Syrian civil war. Human Rights Watch says it goes further. In a new report, it accuses the Assad regime of targeting the innocent, of airstrikes deliberately aimed at places like hospitals and bakeries, with at least 4,300 killed since last summer.
It is unacceptable that countries such as Russia continue to supply the Syrian government with weapons.
Syria was at the top of the agenda when G8 foreign ministers, including Russia's, met in London.
We all remain deeply concerned about the human tragedy continuing to unfold there. We agreed that our immediate priorities are increasing humanitarian access.
But that was about it. No mention of the call by Human Rights Watch for an arms embargo. A touch of glamour was injected into the ministers' meeting with the arrival of Angelina Jolie. The actor, who is a UN envoy for refugees, is also a campaigner against sexual assault in conflict zones, an increasingly common weapon of war. She won a multi-million-dollar commitment from the politicians for a fund to fight the scourge.
Perpetrators have learned that they can get away with it, and victims have been denied justice. But wartime rape is not inevitable.
Foreign Affairs Minister John Baird announced that Canada would be contributing $5 million to the cause, but he found himself caught up in the sensitivities of Palestinian-Israeli relations. Earlier this week, he met with Israel's justice minister, but he did it in her East Jerusalem office, which is disputed territory. A Palestine Liberation Organization spokesman called it a dangerous precedent. Baird dismissed the complaint as irrelevant.
I'm just not interested in getting into these semantic arguments about whether you have a meeting with one person on one side of the street, it's okay. If you have a meeting on the other side of the street, it's not. We're focused on trying to tackle the difficult, serious challenges.
In the past, Canadian ministers have pointedly avoided such meetings in such places in the Middle East, but Baird says there's no change of policy. Sean Mallon, Global News, London.